wondered why we would remake something that, in my opinion, Porridge is it's my favourite sitcom. And I thought, well, why on earth would we remake that if it's kind of perfect? But we've done it, and it's a disaster, and it's a terrible, terrible mistake, and we're very, very sorry. But it's just 6 weeks, and then it'll all be over, and then we can all just forget it ever happened.
Well, just remind us, if you will, Kev, of how your character fits in, because he's a relation, isn't he, of the original?
Yeah, well, I'm his grandson, so I'm a chip off the old block. I actually get imprisoned for cybercrime. I'm still the cleverest guy in the cell block, and I help people out with their problems, writing to lawyers and briefs and things like that. But yeah, there's certain similarities there.
So if you liked Porridge back then,
you should like this.
I mean, the only thing that'll put them off maybe is you then.
Yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Yeah, there's a lot of pressure on me, obviously, but I mean, I was never really trying to fill Ronnie Barker's boots anyway. You know, I just love their writing. Dick and Ian write fantastic, you know, stuff that you just don't hear anymore. The rhythms to their writing is completely different to anything that I see nowadays from new writers, and it is a nice thing to just go back and do. And they have written, even though it's called Porridge, you know, it's a completely standalone series. It's nothing. There's nothing really similar to the first series, other than the fact that it's called Porridge and it's set in a prison. So.
And actually, the way it's been filmed is very traditional as well, because it's that kind of live studio audience feel. So, what do you think that brings to it?
Well, I was very nervous at first about that because we were shooting it in Salford, and I thought, well, I wonder how a Manchester audience are going to respond to a Cockney sort of, you know, sitcom.
Right.
And the audiences were just fantastic. I mean, they absolutely loved it, and they completely got it. And there's something really special about the energy of a live studio audience. They really I think they bring out the best in comedy actors. You know?
Yeah,
because
even with like Mrs. Brown and all that, you know, and it feels right when you're sitting watching it at home. It's a very kind of cosy feel and atmospheric feel to the drama.
But we had Ben Elton on Friday, and he did the Ronnie Barker lectures, and he was saying that he was worried about, you know, studio comedy dying a bit because people just don't give them a chance these days. People watch an episode, and then if they don't like it instantly, you know, that's it. It's game over. I mean, are you worried about that?
I'm not really worried about it, because I think the good thing about working in front of a live studio audience is, you know, there and then if something's good, it's instant gratification. But whereas when you're working on a single camera show where you don't have a live studio audience, you know, you have to wait a few months for that to come out, and you know, sometimes you can't really know how well it's gone because the crew are more interested in what they're doing. They've got to put a bit of poly up there, mate, got to change that light over there, move that over there, and, you know, and they're not really worried about what's going on set. Whereas the audience are completely engaged, and they're having a good time. So yeah, it's good.
Good.
And you never got the chance to work with Ronnie Barker, but you have worked with Ronnie Corbett.
Yes.
Is that right? when did you work with him? What were you doing?
I worked as a maid in his house. No, I was. It was actually one of my first ever professional gigs. I was 7 or 8 years old, and it was Jack and the Beanstalk pantomime in the Churchill Theatre in Bromley, and I was a tap dancer and singer in that.
See, I wasn't expecting that now, tap dancer.
Yes, tap dancing. That's how it all started for me. Yeah, and I'm going to end that way.
No, good luck with Porridge.